Hello, I'm JP.WATKINS. Welcome to Personal Gov. Today I'm going to talk about offsetting negative people, negative interactions with people. So for instance, if you're a content creator like myself, if you get out there, you help people, at some point in time, somebody's going to say something nasty. Like right now, I got this pimple coming up on my face, right? Guess what? At some point in time, somebody's gonna say, they're gonna say something about my pimple, or say something about my big snot locker, or whatever. Say something about my chunky face, whatever. Sometimes people will go out their way to tear you down. So they say, well, how do you deal with that? Well, I'm gonna tell you one of the strategies that I use, because I came up, like I said, I came up in an abusive home, resource restricted. So kids always made fun of me. I was always wearing clothes over and over. A lot of times I was wearing hand-me-downs for my cousins and stuff like that. So kids didn't care. They didn't care that, my mom was a single mom with 7 kids. They just, hey, this is the third time this week you don't wear that shirt. So they make fun. They make fun because you don't have name brand clothes. They make fun of you because you fat. They make fun of you because they consider you ugly or fat or unattractive, whatever it is. But what do I do today? How do I offset that negativity? Well, what I do is, say somebody may call and say something, get up under my skin. Well, what I do is I intentionally, somebody ticked me off, hurt my feelings. So you know what? I intentionally reach out. I encourage somebody else. I empower somebody else. Why? Because anytime somebody say something or do something, that's a reminder of, you know what? I know how this feels. It's a reminder that now, you know what? I can reach out and encourage somebody else. Somebody else may be going through this. Somebody else may have just got insulted. Somebody else may have just got torn down, whether they're going through domestic violence, whether they're going through a spat with, a spouse, or whether maybe they manager or maybe their client just called them all kind of incompetent idiots and so on and so forth. So what I do is I intentionally reach out to people on my supporting cast, and I encourage other people. And for me, a lot of times somebody will respond back and say, you know what, I really appreciate that. And what does that do? So what happens when you have 3 or 4 people reach it back saying, you know what, JP, I appreciate that. I appreciate that encouragement. That meant so much. So a lot of times, and then guess what? Sometimes even out the blue, it's like seeds, deeds are seeds, right? So the more seeds you plant, the more going to take root. So randomly, hey, I reach out to my kids, even though they're young adults, I reach out, I call them, I text them, and every once in a while, I'll get a very endearing, text or message from my kids, and it's so encouraging. It's so empowering. And, especially in a society where we got a lot of toxic male masculinity, where people don't like to express themselves, men like to be so macho, want to be so tough and act like you can't have feelings. Hey, I tell my son all the time, hey man, I love you, and it's, we're people, whether we're men, women, we're people, we have feelings. People can hurt our feelings. We can hurt other people's feelings. But that's one of the things I do. So if you're a content creator, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're just a person living your day-to-day life, of managers, direct care worker, and somebody hurt your feelings, try that. Reach out. Somebody hurt your feelings, instead of snapping back and honoring your lowest instinct, reach out to somebody and say, hey, how you doing? Maybe go through your contact list. Maybe it's a friend you ain't hung out with. Hey, let's have a tea date. Let's hang out. Let's do that. And do it not just to one person, but 3, 4, 5. Multiply that effect. And that way, the more good you give out, it's going to come back on you. Well, that's my time for the day. Stay blessed and stay focused.